Hey everyone, I'm here today for the Find Your Freedom talk. But first, I just have a little part of a tune to play for you because I love it. Freedom, freedom, So he sings about freedom. That is exactly the name and the title of that song. So it's a very catchy tune. It's very fun. So don't mind me dancing and singing, but it's all part of the fun. So anyway, I am here to talk to you today about finding your freedom. And I guess to start with, I'll just give you a little bit of my own story. A few years back, I had a sudden onset of pain in my ribs. And I've never experienced a pain like that in my life, ever. So it was a new thing for me. I honestly couldn't say I did one thing. I had been to the chiropractor. I from the past was a massage therapist, so I know all about healing physically. But anyway, so it just really stopped me in my tracks from doing the things that I wanted to do. And the biggest thing in that was my daughter would come up to me and just want a big squeezy hug. And she'd say, "Mom, like, let's have a hug." And so I'd hug her, but I was so much in pain that I was wincing and in tears. And I was like, no, this can't be. There has to be a different answer for this, because I did not want to live my life that way any longer. And so I guess because I did all the physical stuff and I'm a definite health nut, I knew the answers, but deep down inside, I knew that there was more. The pain was getting my attention, just because it was screaming at me to be more true to myself, because I wasn't being true to myself. I was feeling very caged in. I was craving just really to get away from it all. I was unhappy. I was miserable. I was waking up in the morning and just kind of burying my head down and mucking through life, because that's kind of where I got myself to. And I guess that's why exactly I'm here talking to you today, because I found my freedom in the way I choose my daily life and the way I think about things. And I know you can too, so I'm going to share some things with you today. One of them, a couple of things being that just really find out where your life is feeling unbalanced, and how you can really say yes to you and your desires, and how you can kind of create possibilities from those desires, and just in your thoughts and actions, and you know, how you can get up and out of the bed in the morning feeling full of energy, looking forward to your day, and just really having a whole different outlook on life and not mucking through and not feeling kind of stuck in the muck, I guess is another way to say it. So I guess a big part of that is your health, and being in a high energy place and vibrating kind of at that pace is not just what you eat, but it's what you're thinking and saying and how you're being and all of that as well. And an example I will give you is how do you know what in your life really wants to be nourished, or where you're feeling out of balance? And I would draw you a picture, but actually I think I have this one here. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but you see this sort of pie-shaped form, and it actually on there is a whole bunch of different ways that you can fill it out. Actually, maybe take a piece of paper and draw this circle and cut it into as many pies as you want. And I will give you some examples of that. Joy, social life, relationships, health, physical activity, education, career, finances, creativity, and spirituality. So those are just to name a few, and you can always send me a message after if you want. I will actually email this to you, and you can do this because we're not live. I can't just hand it to you. Draw yourself this little picture of this wheel. I'll maybe hold it over here. You can see it better. There. Now, the key is with that is you take a pen and you draw on this piece of paper where, if you're close to the center or if you're way out here. And way out here is balanced, way in here is unbalanced. So Now take a dot in each of these pie shapes and dot where you are, and then join the dots, connect the dots, just like you were a kid, right? And you will see where in your life that you're feeling a little out of balance. And it's actually quite surprising. It's kind of a neat little trick because people do know, but to actually see it in paper in front of them, whole different story, right? Okay, so that's just one way we can figure out kind of where we're feeling a little bit out of balance. So how we're being in relation to any outside stressors within that wheel even, or if we're saying yes to anything our soul desires, or not saying yes to our soul desires, where are we in that big picture of that life wheel? Do we just bury our head and go down with the muck, kind of go through the motions of life? Or do we wake up feeling energized, excited about our day? I often tell people, like if you just, when you get out of bed, you have a few minutes before you're really fully awake, think about one thing you're excited about in your day or looking forward to, even if it's not excited, but just one thing you're looking forward to, even if it's after your day job of work, you get to come home and throw some sweatpants on, golden. Think about it. Think about how it makes you feel to come to that point in your day and carry that energy with you all day long. It's amazing, and it works. It really does work. So that's just one thing I do like to tell people. So I guess sometimes who we're being in that whole, I guess, essentially free, is when our inner values and are out of alignment with any boundaries we've created for ourselves. So an example of that might be, say you're a creative person and you really like being creative and you like maybe crafting or painting, drawing, whatever it might be for you. If you kind of have put that off just because you have a family, you're busy running around with your family, you come home from work, you cook, you clean, you run kids around, you know what it's like. Or maybe you don't have family, but you just kind of lost that, you just kind of feel like you've lost that creativity part of you. It can be because you just feel like people are more important, or maybe it's just not your thing anymore. Whatever your boundary or your value, when your value starts to become compromised and you haven't set that boundary for yourself, that is kind of when we start to feel really stuck and where we start to feel yucky. And when we honor what that value is and we kind of continue to be ourselves in that, if we continue being that creative person, that's when we kind of have that free feeling, that joyful feeling, as it really is joy. My own example of that is, again, buried myself down, going through the motions. I got to a point where, hey, this is life. I wanted a family. I've got these kids. I've got this job that's kind of secure and, financially secure, insurance, everything else. But what am I missing? Like I'm missing something here. Something is gone. I lost a part of myself with it, and because I valued helping others and doing really meaningful work, and I was compromising that part of me because I had this picture in my head of that's how my life should have been, but I kind of forgot about that other part of me. So I was compromised. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling dreadful of my days and just kind of chaos. Like, what? Chaos. Yes, chaos sums it up pretty much to a T. So I decided to honor that part of me that really needed to do some more meaningful work in my life and helping others. And that's exactly what got me here today. Again, I'm a little bit of a health nut, nutrition, any healing has always been my thing. So that's what really brought me to coaching. And it would just felt like really right for me. I still have that job. I'm still working that job, but I've found ways to I guess, be joyful in a day and make those choices that it just looks so differently than it did years ago. And I am more than happy I have lots of really great tools in that, and I am more than happy to share it with you and being able to help you all with that, because more than anything, I like to see other people go through that same transformation. And for me, just to stand there and be your support and be accountable, like hold you accountable to finding that freedom for yourself. That's what it's all about. So anyway, how can you feel alive and free? So I'm going to actually ask you a question. So what in your heart do you think wants to feel free? Again, you can go back to that wheel that I sort of showed you. What's calling that for that freedom? What is your soul and your heart desire saying? Okay, you know what? I need to do this a little bit more in my life. And what are the possibilities that would make you feel alive and wake up with energy and get out of that chaos and that stuckness and feeling like that all the time? What would make you come alive? Really, what would? So I will throw another twist on that question. If you were living life with as much joy as possible, without any concerns, what would that one thing you might be doing differently? What is that one thing that you really want to change? And if you're not sure, just sit with it for one moment. Just kind of take a deep breath in, and something comes up for you. What comes up for you? Write it down. And I encourage you, what is one small thing that you can do for yourself and that desire in the next 24 hours? What are any possibilities in that will get you closer to feeling that joy and feeling that freedom? Okay, just think about it. It's a good thinker. Okay, so I also have another little trick. If you're kind of going, okay, well, this is what come up for me, but I'm not sure. I don't know how to decide. But because we're not live together, I can't really do this exercise with you, but I've always kind of known about something in my life. It's using your own inner energy and muscle testing. So on your left hand, although it probably looks right for you if I spin around in this left hand here, if you take your pinky finger and your thumb and just put them together like this, okay? And then in your right hand and take your thumb and your index finger and insert them in the little circle you've made here, like this, okay? So let me think of an example. Okay, it can be as simple in any life decision. Okay, so I'm gonna stand and I'm gonna walk into a coffee shop and I'm gonna make an order, but I kind of want tea and I kind of want coffee, but what is my heart really asking for? And I'm like, kind of think I really want the coffee, but then I'm starting to doubt myself. So let's do this. Okay, so again, circle, pinky finger and thumb, left hand, and index finger and thumb of the right hand. So the circle is made. Just insert like this. There we go. Okay. Do I want the tea? See how easily my fingers came apart? Do I want the coffee? And there's more resistance. So my heart's wanting the coffee. My head got in the way. I'm kind of feeling a little bit stuck in that. Do this little simple exercise. Done. I want coffee. Going with coffee. Now I have coffee and I feel joyful because I've followed exactly what it is I really wanted. I didn't let my head get in the way. I didn't give it 1,000 reasons. You know, and any reason can come up, right? Like it can be, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have the means, the access. You know, we can make all sorts of excuses for ourselves. I've been there, I've done it, I have walked that path, and believe me, I came up with every excuse possible not to do something that was true to me. So it's just a way to rethink about things. Okay, so that's just one little fun thing to do. So I'm just going to talk for a moment, I guess, a little further about. In my programs, we talk about a lot of the mindset and beliefs behind what it is that you really does make your heart sing, and what kind of beliefs are getting in the way of beside all this talk of the reasons not to, what is it that's deep down really like you believe that just it's not going to happen ever for you. And so we dive into that, and it's pretty cool stuff. So what kind of makes it unique? Again, like I said, it's just that I'm the support and I'm there to keep you accountable and cheer you on, because that's what it's it's tough because we don't want to feel alone in it. I mean, we want to make sure we're doing this, and we're not like crazy. And so I guess from that, I guess really what I would teach you and show you what some of the exercises of that is to go through is how to have a new way of thinking, how to have some new experiences in your life that will bring you closer to joy and will make your heart sing and will make like those soul desires just light you up on fire, and how you can get out of bed in the day and have more energy, get unstuck, choose differently. There's lots of cool things that we can do, and just let you feel free and released and not chained and unhappy and mucking through head down motions, and just go from motionless to lots of emotion and happiness and joy in living. And like I said, I've walked the walk. I've been down the road. I'm very like just I feel so I guess really just know that this is a really, really different way of being, and I would love to be able to share it with you. So in all of that, I would just like to invite you to have a session with me, a free session where you can just discover kind of what in you really wants to be freed, and how you too can find that freedom and joy and living daily like that. And so like I said, I will invite you to that. The link is below. And thank you. Love you guys.